Before I get on to what the topic is all about, first of all, I would like to thank Chennai Plastic Surgery, Dr. Karthik Ram and his entire staff and co-doctors for actually inviting me over to host this evening. Thank you so much, Karthik. Getting on to the first topic of this evening, we have a very interesting topic, and this is something which is deep-rooted and lies in our Indian society, should I say. Fair is not always lovely. It's a very interesting topic. We will have a fabulous panel right now, whom I'm going to be introducing. They will be on stage, and as I said, Indira would be moderating this entire session. May I now call upon Rohini Manian, the CEO of Global Adjustments and Editor-in-Chief of Culture Rama Living, to join us on stage. Dr. Rajiv, Medical Director, Consultant Cosmetic Dermatologist at Skin and Hair. They will be joined by Dr. Karthik Ram, Managing Director, Chief Cosmetic Surgeon, chennaiplasticsurgery. We now have a very beautiful lady in our midst, all the way from Russia, who is also a radio jockey and a model, and she does shows on Chennai 104.8 Live. Jane. We now request celebrities psychologist Abhilasha to join us on stage, please. Certified cosmetologist and also runs the Aesthetics and Wellness International Private Limited in Bangalore. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the stage is all yours. Let's have a very interesting discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that introduction, and thank you, Dr. Karthik Ram and Cosmoglitz team for putting together this fabulous session on skin lightening, fairness, social issues, obsession of whitening. And these are all things I think we live on a day-to-day basis in our country and hardly talked about in a positive manner. So today, we're going to take these 45 minutes and make it very productive for our audience to be able to have awareness about what goes on behind the scenes in the skin and also the treatments. Yeah? So, wedding gowns are white, funeral clothes are black. When you make a mistake, you are blacklisted, not white. White cars have black tires. White is clean and black is dirty. As long as white symbolizes purity and peace and black represents bad luck, obsession with white and fair will continue. Racism as a culture will prevail, not just in India, but across the world. So, is it, like RMC said today, a colonial hangover that is subconsciously imposed by generations of social conditioning? How did we get here? From a tube of Fair and Lovely to a $450 million whitening industry. Let's talk about it. So our first question is to Dr. Abhilasha. Fair skin is beautiful and dark skin is undesirable. How deep-rooted is this complex in our society?
A very good evening to one and all. Yes, that's a very valid question, especially for the present scenario. We always have the social-cultural pressure and certain influences where we always look into fairer people as intelligent, good people, and darker people as incapable and not that up to the mark. I just wanted to refer a certain incident. A few years back, when we had our ex-CM on seat during the election, there was a campaign happening on the TV, and they were just randomly questioning people, who would you elect? And there was this flower vendor who said, I will be voting Amma. So the interviewer asked, why would you do that? Because she's fair. So that's the kind of influence we have in our society. They don't see anything else if someone's fair. And that comes not only because of British, I think. It's even before that, when Aryans came in or even Mughals came in, I think it started then. And but actually speaking, much before that, in our history, black used to be worshipped, like Lord Krishna, Gita, and Shiva. Everyone were actually symbolized to be black. So I don't know how it happened to change, but now in the modern scenario, as you said, yes, white is sought after, and being white is not bad. But then black doesn't have to change to white just to impress people. But that's what has been happening around.
Jane, you want to take this up?
Yes, hello.
Yes, hi.
I would like to say that it has nothing to do with British or colonial style, because people always want to have what they cannot have. I think it's a psychological aspect more than any racial subject, because if you see in the West, I'm coming from Russia, in Russia people are obsessed with being black, being tanned. In fact, it is so not good to be as white as I am. Actually, I'm too white for Russia, and I have been body shamed. People telling me, you are so white, why don't you go and get tan? And I cannot get tan, I don't have that melanin. I mean, that hormone which makes the skin darker. I cannot, they're saying that try some cream, self-tanning cream, or there are body paints which are available. And when people go for competition, for example, dance competition, bodybuilding competition, all of them will put lots of paint not to be white. To be as white as I am is actually not good. So where British come in? So I think this is a more psychological aspect. But going back to Indian culture, it's only in India that people obsess so much with being white. Of course in China also, but not to that extent like it is in India, because I've been living in India for many years and I've observed that. I think it has something to do with social disparities, which came with maybe Aryans, maybe at that time. So to show your social status, you had to be more fair. So it had something to do with that, because till today I can observe that people who belong to Brahmin caste, they're still fair. So probably in olden days it made a lot of sense, discrimination, like by dress, by certain features, people used to recognize each other, so it has got something to do with that, I think.
I think you did it right on. It's something that they do consider as a challenge.
even today, while introducing this panel, he said, I have been lucky to pick up the fair one. So it's already sitting in the head of everyone. I mean, we try to say that dark skin is beautiful, but automatically it comes, I was the lucky one. See, so people already think by those categories. It's already in genes.
So, Dr. Daniel.
To add on this, how deep is this complex about being black and fair in our society? I think it's very pervasive. And one of the funny things about culture is we all are cultured without knowing it. We don't know when we got into this, we don't know when we started thinking this way, but it's there. And we are as much perpetrators of this as we are victims of it ourselves. So we think this way, people around us think this way, and it's like our default mode. So, and like Jane, she made a very astute observation about the lucky word. So it's there. It's not that we have a superiority complex about being black or fair, or an inferiority complex we do carry about being dark toned or dark skinned. It's not like that. But somewhere this idea that being fair is pretty is there, and that is the market. So the roots we can very well analyze. People will talk about variance and socio-cultural issues and all these things, but we should know that this is pervasive. When we pinch or when we tap the cheek of a fair-skinned girl, and when we tell a darker skinned girl, or when we ask her, how well are you doing in school? So both are very good questions, or both are good gestures, but then that reflects the bias that we carry, and that is internalized in individuals as they grow up, and coming out of it is a process in itself. So I think that is it.
And Dr. Daniel, if you can throw some light on how this affects the self-esteem and self-confidence of a person being black or being white.
When we grow up, we understand what we are, and we have to come to terms with it. So there are so many things to understand about us, so many things to come to terms with, accept us. So, and being fair or dark, being tall or short, all these things we have to learn to accept. And this is one more issue that is there as a part of growing up. So coming to terms or accepting or being comfortable with your skin tone. And because society or the air around or the atmosphere around places a certain value to being fair, it is perceived as a deficit. So in a growing child, it could be perceived as a deficit. I wouldn't say all children will think of that way, or all individuals will grow up that way with a certain complex, but there is a chance that this person would grow up in a certain way. So, and going back to what Jane was saying, in a different cultural setting, it is in a different way. So in our cultural setting, this is how it is. So self-esteem is not built up overnight. It is a part of growing up. So the process of development of self-esteem is a part of growing up. So children, they grow up, they do various tasks, they get feedback to those tasks, they form opinions about themselves, and in this process, a child that grows up thinking or with a prominent notion that he or she is fair-skinned or dark-skinned could land up with a low self-esteem on account of that. I wouldn't say all the low self-esteem is contributed only by skin tone, but that could be one of the factors that makes a child to grow up with a poor self-esteem. Low self-esteem has implications for the adult, so which is a product of growing up. So in terms of how confident this person is, how much he engages, how much he interacts. So So how much he assumes that the world accepts him. So all these things, social anxiety, many other things. So growing up with low self-esteem, I wouldn't attribute it entirely to dark skin or a dark complexion. I wouldn't attribute it to bad parenting or anything per se. So this child's daughter, parents have not taught her to value her skin, or they have put her down. I wouldn't go down and pass judgment, but this is one of the many factors which has an implication. So in certain individuals, you would find that this is a prominent thing, something that they would, if you asked what would you correct about yourself, probably the first word would be my complexion. So now that may be a prominent part of their psyche. So that's how I would say.
Thank you, Dr. Nadu. How about you, Rocky? What's your thoughts on this?
When I was growing up, I was the darkest in my family. So my grandparents would come to me, both my grandmothers, and they'd be like, you should use some ghee on your skin, or you should use some turmeric, and you should get fairer. But my parents were always like, no, her dusky complexion suits her. So I grew up feeling very self-confident. And I'm darker than my brother and a couple of shades darker. But I really think that dusky is beautiful. You have to make the most of what you have. And you'll never see me use a fairness product. I've never done it till today.
Awesome.
And I would like to add that since it is division by discrimination by the color of the skin is more social, and I can definitely say that change can be made even here in Indian society, because if you look 200 years back in Russia and in Europe, white skin used to supposed to be to noble people only attributed, because a peasant used to work in the field a lot and naturally they would tan, even white people get tan. So ladies who were from rich houses, from higher society, they always remained white, and they always used to put powder to look more white. So now the time has changed, because there are no aristocracy, there is no noble people anymore, so it's all equal. And now dark skin in white, in northern hemisphere is supposed to be more expensive, because if I cannot get tan, I have to apply paint, which stays only for 5 days. So every 5 days I have to spend 2,000 rupees. That means only those who can afford can stay dark. So if you change the perception of the social division, then even that attitude will change. So this is why
we did in our clinic, and the girls coming between the ages of 20 and 30, we asked what kind of guy you like to get married. 70% they said darker skin tone. Okay. So guys, be happy. We have some chances. So I know I have done the reverse way. Probably I don't know what will be the answer.
it will be fair.
It was always tall, dark, and handsome, even back in college, even a good 15 years ago. I don't know the current trends, obviously, but
that is complex problem comes next.
So it's okay, we love guys if they're dark, but girls have to be fair. What's the problem here?
Probably the parents should stop making this division, because even though in Russia dark skin is supposed to be more desirable, nobody says this to children, nobody at all. But when my children come to school, every teacher will ask, such a beautiful tan, where did you get it? But it's naturally from Indian fathers.
Alright, so I'm going to ask this question to Dr. Indira. Give us the scientific difference between white skin and dark skin, especially for our viewers here. We want people to know what is the real scientific difference between fair skin and dark skin. What's the advantage of having dark skin?
right. Generally, in dermatology, the skin, the spectrum of color or complexion gets divided across 6 types. There are many newer classifications, but most of us follow the Fitzpatrick skin score, which puts the skin complexion across a spectrum of 6 divisions. One being the fairest, that is the Caucasian with blonde hair and blue eyes, and 6 being the person from Africa, the African. And we fall somewhere around 4, 5, and 6. Most South Indian skin types will be around 4, 5, and 6. This simply means the amount of melanin that is there in our skin, and the quality, the type of melanin, the shape of the melanin, the melanosome, the structure in the cell that contains the pigment. There are biological variations, and because of those biological variations, we get thrown all over the spectrum. Even here, you find extremely fair-skinned individuals, especially around Bangalore and so on. There have been different mixing of races, different mixing of genes over the period of time from different dispersions of the population over time. But in general, this is the classification we follow. What is the advantage of being 4, 5, and 6? We hardly see skin cancer the way we see it in Western populations. That's because we have a very good stock of melanin which protects us from skin cancer. We do see occasional rare types of cancers, maybe melanoma, the northeast population mostly, but out here it's very, very rare to see the pigment kind of skin cancers. There are other kinds, but these are pretty rare in our population as such.
So is it fair to say more melanin in the skin, more protection?
Absolutely. The melanin came in because we moved to a hotter place with more sun exposure, so there was more melanin. As we were able to adapt, as the evolution progressed and we were able to adapt to difficult climates like the Siberian area or if it's Alaska, you did not need so much of melanin over a period of time. So that's where the acquisition of melanin came as races evolved, newer populations came in.
So for all us, our skin people, really you need the melanin to be living in the continent that you are. So there's a fair reason to feel acceptable about the color that you have. I think it's a strong message that you give when you say it that way. Skin discoloration. This is a dermatology topic, so I choose you for it. Can you explain different kinds of discoloration? I know there are many, but you can take a few popular ones that get thrown around here and there.
That's an essay question, Gary, but I just tell you the most common types of walk in for consultation. One of the most common discolorations or dispigmentation that we see of late, and which is a lifestyle thing, is hair color induced skin discoloration. You can easily pick out the people who wear a hair color, who use a hair color, especially the older formulations. There are newer formulations that are coming in to be better. But you can easily pick out the people because they have the discoloration on the temple, the sides, the jawlines, and so on. That's a newer thing that we are seeing maybe over the last 10-15 years. And also because we are exposed to much more or much longer. I would say if sunlight was considered as a factor for pigmentary disorders, now we have, and you compare it to deep fry, you can compare your light from the computers and lights as a tandoor. Just keep getting slow cooked through the day. So we do see a number of pigmentary disorders, tanning, and what we call as a pigmentary demarcation line, which is usually along the temples. These are the common things that we see. And another kind of pigmentation that's quite common is that which is associated with weight gain, what we call as acanthosis, like a metabolic syndrome, which is common when there's a lack of exercise. We hardly commute, we hardly walk to commute. We only travel from point A to point B in any mode of transport. And weight gain because of other hormonal issues like polycystic ovaries and so on. In those people, you can see a uniform darkening, and the usual complaint is that the face and the neck is darker than the rest of the body. So even as compared to other exposed areas like the arms.
What about something like melasma?
Melasma is quite common, but and of late we see that pollution has been established as a cause for worsening of melasma. Melasma is the most intelligent of all pigmentations. As compared to other pigmentations where there's some hope, in melasma you just always tell people that it'll come back.
Okay. Because you see a lot of advertisements promising white skin, which is why it's important to understand levels of discoloration and different kinds of discoloration, so therefore you know some things you can do and some things you kind of let go.
But do you think it could have been created by business because it's a big business whitening skin? Maybe it's all these campaigns created to sell the product?
That's one kind of problem.
Well, it's a question of the chicken or the egg. You never know whether it was a demand for whitening or for there's something called the lipstick effect. Whenever the economy goes down, people look towards smaller procedures like whitening to make themselves more competitive in the market. And that applies to many small businesses. That's how smaller entrepreneurships come up. I guess, but the cosmetic industry as such being fueled by the demand, and then I guess it's
I used to work on TV in Russia, and we also had panel discussions, but for tanning. preventing people with being obsessed with tanning. Like here people want to be white, over there people want to be dark, and they spend hours and hours in the sun applying some oils and creams to get darker. And we bring social awareness that so much sunlight causes cancer. People don't understand that tanning is not just for beauty, it actually skin protects itself from dangerous rays of sunlight. People don't understand that. They just think, oh no, just getting dark is good. And because everyone, like we have 6 months of winter with no sun, so naturally when summer days comes, everybody just lies hours and hours, and they get so many moles and so much skin cancer, and that's why we're trying to bring awareness, but people just don't listen, just like here.
So Dr. Karthik, difference between a spa facial and a skin treatment at a dermatology center or when you treatment at a cosmetic center?
Actually, if I think a better person, my parents are a little furious and talks a lot, so I just want to give a question over there. See, what the salon and like the spas do there's a certain limits. Like they can do the procedures which affect the superficial development. Even few products and few like facials and few peelings are not allowed to do it in a salon and spa setup. The reason is if any complication happens, for example, chemical peel, they might work, it can happen to anybody. The spa people might not be in a position to deal with the complications. It actually doing is different. And like even each peel has to be like individualized, and that needs a lot of expertise. So only we don't advise little deeper peels and even the superficial peel which they are not used to it, better not to do it in a spa setup. It has to be done by a package. The same way, treating a problem, say example melasma, pigmentation, these are all the few problems only addressed by the dermatologist, not by the cosmetologist in the spa.
Right, so if you apply bleach on a melasma skin, you're only making it more sensitive to more melasma later. You might see an immediate result of the light fairness and then later on. So that's a typical example of what might happen. Yeah. So now, what are the popular treatments that are going on in the skin lightening arena? And I want to stick with what's some treatment that can be done as a dermatology cosmetic center. Demarcate them. Renita?
Just a call that's making the rounds in the whitening arena.
Yeah.
Off the record, hydroquinone is still the #1 thing that's going around. Unfortunately, the sale or the regulation of sale across, it's still an OTC drug. It's something that most things are an OTC drug. We don't really regulate harmful products like hydroquinone. And it even creams up to 10% are available, hydroquinone 10% is available. So off the
shelf.
Yeah, the approved part of it, yeah, hydroquinone still sells. Apart from that, newer treatments that have come in, we have made some good headway in terms of treating pigmentation in the whole new area of chemical peels. Earlier it used to be that for dark skin, XYZ peels are known. But now we are seeing more and we are having much more evidence to treat different kinds of pigmentation in darker skin. There are peels and procedures being developed for darker skin, which is actually a very welcome step. Because usually will be every 10 products, only 2 will be applicable to darker skin. Now we have more options available for higher skin types. Then we have the laser toning, the laser lightening, including all the way up to the pico. Then of course, there are a whole lot of injectables that are doing the rounds. Because I guess at some point you want me to get down to glutathione.
So the reason why I asked you to give us a list of treatments that are popular out there because people are already taking these treatments. Now, what I want to do is ask you to help us understand how can you protect yourself after the treatment, which is a very important question.
Regardless of what treatment you take, regardless of whether you have it done at the cosmetic center or the dermatologist or at the spa, the #1 thing, even if you were never too bothered about anything else for your skin, is sunscreen use. Sunscreen is the only proven option that has been demonstrated to be effective in many studies across the world in different skin types. So for anybody who wants to set their pigmentation, who wants to take care of their skin and prevent pigmentation, sunscreen is an absolute must. and that continues after your treatment. And regardless of where you work, whether you are indoors, outdoors, if you are on treatment for a particular pigmentation problem, you have to be with the sunscreen throughout. And the second thing is, there are some treatments which tend to dry out the skin, so your doctor, or the person treating you might be giving you some hydration treatments to follow. And sometimes in some pigmentary conditions, we may come up with a parallel treatment plan, like an old treatment, old medications and stuff. For example, like melasma, we have a few new promising molecules like nicotinamic acid. We tend to use those quite a bit to bolster the effects of the treatment, or the cosmetic treatment, yes.
So I'm going to ask everybody this question, we can go one after the other. When do you counsel somebody out of the skin treatment? What's those conditions? Whether it's social, cultural, or skin per se? Or when do you counsel them into the treatment? So if you were to take it.
I think treatment should be given to people who deserve it. Like, if there is a necessity of correction, skin correction, or therapeutic, they have discoloration or pigmentation, any accidents, victims of accidents, fire accidents, and all this. These people definitely deserve more than just for beautification. Beautification also, when we say a whitening procedure, we are actually trying to standardize, which is not right, especially in our culture. So there are so many other treatments for even tone and all that. It's again a beautification, but then it's of need. But changing the color is of no need because we are creating a standard there.
I have a few clients from the industry, they call me, Gandhi, anything new in the skin brightening treatment is available. See, this is a standard, like the competition, like they think that they end up applying the makeup on the screen. Okay, I said, see, the idea of going to a cosmetic clinic or a cosmetic physician or a surgeon, there should be think for a clear skin, healthy skin, glowing skin. So going for a skin brightening, I don't think there is a point. See, say example, as Anuraj said, that the pigmentation, there is any kind of acne pores or any kind of like unevenness in the skin, yes, we can think about treating it, but not just increasing the skin tone. That would be asked, how many skin tone I go? How many shades?
So it's the answer is skin tone. To change texture or uneven texture is what we recommend. What about you?
I will give experience of getting darker because being on the TV industry, like here, everyone on TV wants to be fair. There, everyone on TV wants to be darker. And being under that social pressure, I did go and did tan myself fully with the paint because I don't have the lighting. I cannot tan even as in hours. So the moment I entered the studio, each and everyone told me, complimented me, oh, you look so beautiful. I went to another show after that as a guest, and the people in front of the whole public was sitting, oh, you look like an expensive lady today. I said, well, I think that's the fashion, because people already believe that dark skin is better, preferable, so I've got so many compliments, and that influences self-esteem, because I'm already established. Otherwise, even then I was considering, should I go every day, every 5 days to get darker skin?
Would we prepare for an event like this with, we have people, we go for manicures, we go for pedicures, we do our eyebrows? Why? Think of all skin treatments as the same way. You do this to feel more groomed, more comfortable, and more presentable. There are many things that we do. Why do we buy a dress of this type as compared to something else? Why do we buy a particular pendant with X amount of rubies as compared to something else? It's all the same. You do it for a certain perceived improvement in your perception of yourself, so that you can project it to others. Treat it like that. Not to get obsessed, not to get addicted. Use the product, don't get used to it. Just treat it like something. Maybe today you want to try something, you want to try a particular outfit and you want to see how you look at it. That's about it. And he said it in 3 words: clear skin, glowing skin, bright skin. Those are all huge things. If a patient comes and asks me for these 3, I'm like, okay. That's quite an achievement. So, depending on your perception, go as much as your comfort level allows it, but don't go down, don't feel bad that, okay, this is what I have to do to get there. Use it like you do a pet manicure or you do an eyebrow threading. All of us do it. It's just the way we are.
So, Daniel?
You spoke about it in a very practical sense about how to make those choices. I will see. A person goes to the makeup mirror in the morning, she looks at herself or himself, thinks, I could have been a little fairer, or I could have been a couple of inches taller. And that's there, and then he walks away, he goes on through his day, and it's not there anymore. So he's there somewhere in his mind, but it doesn't determine, or it's not like a cloud hanging over him all the time. So there's this other person who goes and thinks the same thing, then goes around, and who seems to be kind of preoccupied with his idea. So the shadow is always there, and cannot shake himself or herself out of it. So now that is an indication that this person is somehow giving more importance to this particular thing, which is a distortion, I would say, than he or she ought to. So now when it comes to when would you counsel somebody to go for something, I do not know, but not to go for something. I think I can answer a bit of that. So see, if someone has gone through many similar treatments or with little satisfaction, so reasonable outcomes in an objective sense, say a dermatologist or a cosmetologist sees that person and says, okay, I think the procedure has come out well, but the individual is not really satisfied. Now that is a warning sign to think that perhaps this need for satisfaction or this need is something that goes beyond skin tone itself or skin color or any physical aspect, any cosmetic procedure for them. So, and there is also this good thumb rule that outcomes or satisfaction after a procedure are kind of proportionate to what the discrepancy was before the procedure. So,
sorry. That's so true because before giving a treatment, before when you counsel a patient in the clinic, you have to tell them clearly what you can provide. Say, example, the person with a severe acne scar because of acne, which level you can take them. That you have clearly mentioned. If you expect a clear skin, like a flawless skin, obviously it is not possible. So if he is not willing for this kind of improvement, obviously he won't get treated by you. He will go to other places and shop and get treated. So better to select the client and make them clearly understand what you can provide. That's also half of his problem. And I think, sorry,
so see, when the discrepancy between what you think is reasonable and what is there on the individual is not that much, meaning it is a minor flaw. And so somehow the person is very preoccupied or wants solution to that. Then there is an indicator that this person is valuing this point more than what an average individual would. So that is, it's a thumb rule. So that's how I would see it. And sometimes a string of procedures or a string of things being done progressively to meet some other unfulfilled need. So that has to be watched out, and people should be counseled against that because it would not help them in the long run. So today it might be a skin, tomorrow it might be something else, or it might be a different.
Thank you, what do you see?
I think I agree with Dr. Rajiv. I think that everything is okay in moderation, and people want to look and feel their best. And today I put on a lot of makeup because I want to look and feel my best. And anything that people do in moderation, as long as it doesn't harm their body and it's going to help them feel more confident and secure about themselves, I don't see why not.
I think you can put on that all of us. I think it's a great opportunity to maintain, should someone do to keep a healthy glowing skin, Doctor? As healthy and as glowing as you are.
That's just me.
I'd like to know that too.
Some diet, maybe a form. Absolute honesty.
It's just good name. Some basic tips. We started with the diet. Once upon a time, the diet was we are what we eat was a very famous thing. Then we somehow went to look at other avenues for improving the skin. Now we are back to the diet. And there are a number of diets, there are a number of food items that have been identified to improve. You have a number of new molecules coming in, like resveratrol, which is said to increase the antioxidant status. It's there in grapes.
And why?
In moderation.
Moderation.
So the Mediterranean diet has a lot of colored vegetables and colored fruits. Because anything with color comes with a lot of carotene. So a carrot a day is still okay. So it's still back in vogue because it provides a good amount of vitamin A, which helps us with a lot of antioxidants. And as far as the do's and don'ts at home are concerned, please get off the makeup at bedtime. Get the makeup off at bedtime. Because that's one thing that makes the skin much more stable, much more aged, much faster. The second thing is, even if indoors, always wear a sunscreen. And most people don't like sunscreens because of the great hue that it gives. Simply add a bit of foundation to it to make it match your skin tone and go ahead with that. Many products contain a low amount of glycolic acid. These are good at-home peels that you can use and leave on. But the same thing is what you would get from home pack with tomatoes and so on. But actually, take the lycopene in. It helps as a better antioxidant. Take the olive oil in. It works even better. And when it comes to the skin and there's some amount of oiliness or dullness, cut down on the oil application of the scalp. It's a very common practice to do, at least in South India, to oil the scalp regularly, even twice a week. Cut down on the oil on the scalp to get better and clearer skin. There is one form of very common pigmentation called seborrheic melanosis, where the skin looks dull, lifeless. Nothing wrong with the skin per se, but overall dull and lifeless. And oiling overnight, soaking in oil overnight, all of this contribute quite a bit to that. So the oil needs to go.
Those are some amazing tips. I hope you guys take some notes, mental notes on this. Thank you so much. I'm going to ask my last question, and I want every one of you to take a couple of minutes to answer this. And please keep it to a couple of minutes because we're kind of over our session right now. So I'm going to start this with Ravi. What changes would you like to see in the society to minimize the obsession of fairness in our country? It's a loaded one, but please try.
There's a lot of changes I'd like to see. I'm an editor of a magazine, and whoever my cover is, I'm not going to name them because I don't want to be in any controversy, but whoever my cover is, whenever I show them the cover, 2 out of 3 have been like, can you make me look fairer? That's the first thing that I hear. Can you edit my photo and make me look fairer? I'd be much happier with that. And if it comes from the level of the celebrities who are the most famous here, then how's a normal person going to be happy if they aren't what you call fair and lovely? I'm not fair, I'm dusty, but I know that my self-confidence and my self-worth is much more than the color of my skin or the weight that the scales show. And that is a change that I really hope that society can.
So what's that self-talk in these 2 temples? What does that talk? So that we can absorb that.
I'm worth it. There's
There you
nothing
go.
that I lack. I'm
There you
awesome.
go.
That's my attitude.
Good, nice, awesome. Dr. Daniel.
So, like I told you, this thing about color or complexion, it's a bias, it's a cultural thing that we carry. So, we perpetrate it, we propagate it, we are victims of it, and that's how it is. So, that's because that's how we grew up. Not that we were explicitly told that, but that is the environment in which we grew up. So, I think these cultural things can be changed very slowly. So, when she says a model wants her skin fairer, she's only reflecting that. So it's not like she's propagating it or she's actively making such a thing grow in society. That statement is reflective of society. So to make societal change, or where more people or most people think slightly differently about one thing. So that's something that has to be inculcated in a very neutral way since childhood. So I think schools, teachers, parents of toddlers, so a way of talking to toddlers. So that is where I think you can reap the most benefit if you want to change societal attitudes. Not talking to teenagers, talking to small children, 2 years, when they are forming language. So when they are starting to place the rules of the world in their mind. So that is the time I think these things have to be done. And a general celebration of people with different skin colors in fields where it matters. So, like for example, in the ad or film industry and things like that. So that would also go a long way. But I think that would work but more among teenagers and among adolescents. So that is the thing.
Thank you so much. Dr. Anita?
I echo him in that I'd like to see more dusky heroines. I'd like to see more dusky models. And of late, I am seeing a change already. Not everywhere, not maybe 10% of my clientele comes asking for fairer skin. Most of them simply ask for their skin to be better maintained and to look after themselves. It's mostly about self-preservation and not so much obsession. I think there is a change that's already happening.
So what's your message to the media that's here? That's a sensitive question.
So I guess this is a good starting point already. The initiative by chennaiplasticsurgery and Dr. Karnataka, I think it's already a good starting point where we are here sitting and discussing about a very age-old bias, but something that doesn't seem to be too difficult to be broken. I think it's already happening, and I should thank Dr. Karnataka for being an agent of change today.
So I think we like to see more dusky models. That's what you said.
Thank you.
Dr. Gandhi.
Daniel and Indira said most of the things they covered. As Indira said, that nowadays the dusky models are more wanted in most of the shows, and when people keep seeing the dusky in the modeling and the cinema industry, actually most of our culture goes in over the cinemas and the media. And when they keep seeing the dusky models and dusky female heroines in the movies and the people keep inculcating those kind of things in their mind. So even the kids, when they're watching a movie, they say, okay, heroine, okay, good. Like that thing only comes, So the media has to change that. Then the teachers and the education, when this should be a part of that, like a minor thing. The teachers should not discriminate fair in the property. It's not happening. You can see in most of the schools. So these things have to change. These things have to be. The teachers have to be educated about it, and parents have to be educated. Even let's say family do one kid to be fair, the other kid to be doctor. Even that be a discrimination, mild discrimination. This has to be changed every level, and that's what I want to tell you.
I have similar opinion that it should start with the family, because the parents who appreciate you and who build self-confidence in you is your first people who you see in life is your parents, and of course school. And plus, it happens, this much segregation happens in monochromic society. Like India will have 99.9% Indians. Or in Russia, we have a lot of nationalities, but where I stay in Moscow, it will be 99% white people. But that doesn't happen in the US and Canada. I stayed in Canada for 2 years. Talking about skin color is an offense. You cannot do that. And here, I'm in the modeling industry here in Chennai and film industry, and I observed this. The girl model from Sri Lanka, she was body shaped in front of everyone for her darker complexion. This is just not possible in Canada. So if it is taken as an offense, like in US, you cannot call black people blacks, it's offensive. Same thing should be adopted here. Even though it's one nation, there are some differences in this. So let it be in some small industry maybe, but you cannot do that.
So that's my message. The monochromatic place is where the talk about the color is more.
And I can give an example. Like you have to be appreciated and valued for who you are. Look at Michael Jackson. We love him because of his songs, because of his athleticism. Even though he changed his skin color so many times, so many plastic surgeries, we didn't start loving him more or less. So you have to be the personality first and looks is second.
Thank you very much.
In addition to media and schools and parents, I think it's also every individual. We have to break a taboo which is age-old. And I think we all should take a pledge here. We should accept and appreciate people who are of all colors. I'm not discriminating. I don't want to push down the fair people as well. We all are equal. So I think we should start thinking about every single person, and that will create a huge change in the society. And talking about a healthy skin, one advice as a psychologist from my side will be a suggestion. If your mind is healthy, it's out of stress, it shows on your skin. So there's a beautiful Tamil saying, so what you think, what you are, is projected on yourself.
That's absolutely right. When you stand in front of the mirror, and I know all of us do, whether we accept it or not, and have that little 50 seconds, 2.5 minutes self-talk, when things are not going right, look at your face, what are you telling yourself, and staying back in that, between those temples, really is important. If you always look at yourself and say, I'm beautiful, you actually turn more beautiful. You know, a lot of kids who are told you're beautiful, you're amazing, you're awesome, their self-esteem is through the roof. My 9-year-old thinks that he can be Ronaldo just because he just got into soccer a few months ago. That's the kind of self-esteem these people have. Over a period of time, I think socially, we beat them down in so many different ways. So, all of us have a child in ourselves, and all of us want to pat that child almost very often. So when you're patting that child inside of you, look at yourself. Tell yourself you're beautiful, because you are, and nobody else is like you, period. So I think that's a great conversation that you guys had. You guys gave us a lot of good information about how to manage skin and what to understand about skin. What do you know, what you don't know about skin. You also talked about the scientific facts about skin, and also you've talked about, you're a psychologist, how to deal with it. I think it compromises a very good information about skin, and I think our audience is going to become more aware. Thank you so much for being a panelist and giving so much awareness to this particular. Thank you so much for having this session. It's not easy to talk about these subjects, and that you pick on these and you thrive on these tells me how good of a person you are. And really appreciate what you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, panelists. So, at the end of the session, we've got a broad insight and a broad view of what all our panelists have spoken about. Fair is not always lovely. Just a small thought that came into my mind. My daughters, when they have a fight, the younger one, as I said, is not so fair as the elder one. So when she gets very argumentative, and it comes around to the question of, supremacy. Remember, she says, India is 80% black, you're a minority. So, to take that forward, thank you so very much for giving us a lot of insights into being natural, being the best thing. You don't have to be really bothered about what kind of skin you're attributed to, whether you're fair, whether you're dark. Just be happy the way you are, and I guess life is going to be that much more easier. So, and another good thing that I can tell you right now is the Latin Fashion Week in Mumbai is on. And who gets paid more? The dusty models. And world over, that's the trend. And we have some great lyricists in Tamil, like Vairamuthu, who have written songs like Karthala and Kuprichakala, and Karthu Nerapadi. So we have a deep-rooted culture where we are proud about the kind of skin that we possess. let's not get into the argument of the Aryans or the Dravidians. We're all people at the end of the day. We all have our own attributes. Let's be happy with that. Thank you once again. I'd now like to invite Dr. Arvind to felicitate our panelists, please.
There is the driven
Thank you, Rohini. Thank you, Dr. Daniel.
Thank you.
Dr. Renita. We are going to skip Dr. Karthik. Jane. And Abhilasha. Rupa, I'm not handing over the goodies to you as yet because you have another session to moderate. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, would like to have a photo with all of you.
but you want to cover